guy, Jon Black. How you doing, man?
Good, you?
Good, bro. So I want to start at the beginning, man. Where did you grow up and what was your childhood like?
I grew up in Moncton, New Brunswick, so not too far where I live now. As a child, I spent a lot of time making tree houses, exploring in the woods, playing every sport you could, snowboarding and biking, adventuring, and my dad had a shop in the basement, kind of like the one I have in my garage now, so we were always making all kinds of things for the house and gifts and fixing stuff and that kind of thing, so yeah.
Man, I gotta know, like, what were you like as a teen? Were you getting in any trouble or were you pretty well behaved?
Not always well behaved, I would say, like kind of outlet to kind of react, or I did a lot of crazy stuff for sure that was later in life I definitely wouldn't do, but yeah, I was always adventurous and always exploring. I started a company when I was younger selling skimboards, so kind of got my entrepreneurial spirit when I was a young person.
So it's well known that you're a successful person in the field of woodworking. How does it feel to be where you're at in 2026?
In some aspects it feels really good. In some aspects I still feel like kind of behind a little bit. But yeah, it's definitely, it feels good overall to be where I'm at and to kind of led a career that's lasted almost 20 years now and has sustained my living. And now I have a little family, so it helps support them. And yeah, it feels good to be where I'm at for sure.
I gotta know, what was your first job ever?
First job ever, probably well, it was an entrepreneurial job where I would mow lawns and do snow blowing and stuff like that in the winter. Yeah, that was it.
When you decided to pursue a career in woodworking, how did your parents respond?
They were definitely supportive. They've always been supportive of what I do. Obviously, they didn't see the same vision I saw, so they wanted to push me into something more traditional, like electrical or plumbing or carpentry. But I just kept pushing along at it and kind of had to prove myself a little bit that you can make money at this if you work hard, and kind of dug a niche out for myself.
At what age did you know woodworking was for you?
I'm not really too sure on that one. I guess I just tried all the traditional school stuff. I went to university for a year, then started at the Moncton Market probably somewhere around like 2005 or 2006, and it just kind of brought me to where I am today. It exposed me to a lot of contacts, and I just got a lot of joy and pride out of creating something that I made up the plans and that I made myself.
So did you take many shop classes? Did you take woodworking in high school?
I don't believe I took it in high school. I maybe took it in middle school, but in terms of what I do today, I don't have any sort of formal training. Most of it's just been kind of learn on the fly or learn as you go, or like I said, I grew up with a shop in my basement, so I didn't start yesterday. I was always kind of had my hands in the dirt and hands in tools for my whole life, so it was just a lot of trial and error for sure.
Were there any other careers you thought about pursuing before becoming an entrepreneur?
Yeah, like I said, I did go to university for a year, and I thought maybe I would work in the education system or something like that. I wasn't too sure, but just once I started working for myself, the joy of creating your own contacts and creating your own products and the ability to be creative and the ability to work on your terms just kind of resonated with me more than anything else I've done. So I just kind of continued that.
What were the early days like when you first started your own business? Was it a struggle back then, or?
It wasn't so much a struggle as it was just like I said, there's a lot of doubters. So I spent a lot of time. I spent about 15 years at the Moncton Market. So I would go there every Saturday and sell stuff. And I had the luxury when I first started that my shop was at my parents' house, so that kind of made it kind of cheap rent as they just let me work in the basement, so that was helpful.
So was back then in those early days, would it be normal to put in 12-hour days?
I think it was just depends. Like some days I would do 12 or 15 hours and some days I'd do 2. It just kind of depended on the time of the year and stuff like that, and that was another reason that it kind of resonated with me so much, was because you could create your own time schedule if you wanted to work hard in a certain season, or if you wanted to go snowboarding or biking or something on a Friday, you could also do that.
Man, how many cutting boards do you think you've sanded in your life?
Oof, that'd be a hard one to
A
estimate.
million?
Not a million, but I would say like 20,000.
Legit?
Yeah,
Man.
I don't really know. Like,
Yeah.
like this, like since September, I probably have made 500.
Since September?
I think so.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I know you make other things as well, like tables, pens, and other items. What's your favorite thing to create out of wood?
I don't know if I necessarily have a favorite item to create out of wood. I just want something that has a good story, or like I like having freedom to create stuff. So right now I'm really into making wall art mosaics. I really like making tables and stuff like that. But it's usually just the result, like when something comes out awesome and everyone's happy, and I'm happy. That's the main thing, is like I want to be happy with the products I'm sending out the door.
Well, that's what it's all about, man. You gotta be happy. Bro, I gotta know, have you had any major injuries while working with wood and the machines you own?
Yeah, I've had a few stitches events, and one that needed a skin graft where I almost cut my finger off
Damn.
with the chop saw. But yeah, mostly just cuts.
Yeah, cuts and stuff.
Cuts and stuff, and still got all five fingers on each hand, 10 fingers total. So
Well,
yeah.
hey, you got 10 fingers. Well, okay. What about, like, I know you're big into biking. Have you had any major injuries biking, like on a bicycle?
Same thing this year. I got a bunch of stitches again when I crashed in some dirt, so I had to get 9 stitches in my elbow.
Oh, damn.
So that set me back a little bit, but there's always ways to adapt. Or usually in these times when I did get the injuries, you find ways to outsource different stuff, or figure out ways to build stuff, or have different people in the community that can help you, or different businesses you can collaborate with, and that kind of thing.
What's your favorite type of wood to work with? I like Purple Heart.
Yeah, I really like walnut for sure for tables. It has that dark, rich character, but kind of same to the projects, like the same answer. Like it's really just like the same wood, the same species of wood could have a different look or a different vibe. It's really just like I like interest in wood. I like wood that people like wouldn't think would be interesting or is discarded, that I can kind of create into something unique. For example, like the tables at the Tire Shack Brewery, like they used to be fences that were separated horses or cows in a barn. So I was able to take those, literally get all the shit and grime off them, and then make them into a practical table.
Yeah.
So
Shout out to Tire Shack. What's that wood, that yellowish one? Is it like called bird something? You know that type of wood I'm talking about? It's like yellowish. I think it might have like bird in its name. Do you know
bird's
what
eye
I'm-
maple.
Is that the yellowish one?
It's not too yellowish, but
Well, what's the most expensive type of wood to work with?
I don't know at the current moment. Obviously, like all wood has gone up quite a bit.
Like gold, right?
Yeah, some of the more expensive woods I kind of shy away from now because they're shipped from far away, and I'm not really sure how ethically they're sourced. So I don't really know the most expensive wood right now. It's probably like African blackwood or Wenge or
Dang.
something like that. But yeah, most of those the woods that come from far away, I don't usually work with too much anymore. I try to stick with stuff that's in our,
In our backyard.
yeah, that comes from here, or like I get a lot of offcuts from different cabinet shops in different places. Try to get locally sourced stuff. We get a lot of stuff from Legacy Lumber out of Ontario, some big slabs and that kind of stuff.
Is there any type of wood that's harder to work with?
Definitely, yeah. Like some of the woods that are the harder the density of the wood. So hardwoods in general are harder to work with than softwoods, say woods people build houses with, because the wood density is a lot harder. So it's harder to cut. It's harder on your blades, harder on your planers, harder to sand. But yeah, the harder the wood, which is usually more into like the exotic woods, are definitely harder to work with for sure.
When did you first purchase your own machinery, like the planer, the miter saw, and like how expensive are those machines?
Well, like I said, I used my dad's shop quite a bit when I was younger, and then he was able to move to Halifax and get another job. So I kind of took most of his tools, um, and then later just kept adding different pieces to the puzzle. I don't have any super high end machines. Maybe my table saw or like bandsaw is one of my more expensive items. They're probably around 3 grand or so per piece. Um,
3 grand per piece?
yeah, something
Damn.
like that.
Okay, well, man, I know there was a time around when we met, you were forced to relocate. Can you talk about being forced out of your place of business?
Yeah, I guess there was a noise issue, which you always tell people like I'm gonna be loud, like when I'm working.
Yeah, for sure.
If you're
yeah.
working with planers or saws and stuff, and I guess people don't just understand the grasp of how loud I'm gonna be. So there was a bit of a noise issue in the first building when I first moved out of my dad's
Understandable.
house,
Yeah.
and yeah, that led me to another building, which kind of made some more contacts. And that building actually burned down when I was in it.
Really?
Yeah, so I ended up losing most of my machinery, but you know, with the goodwill of the people and some help around, I kind of was able to buy all new machinery, and then this place I'm at now with my house in Dieppe, and that has a garage. So here I am now in the garage.
So, was that a real setback?
I think at the time you would maybe think it would be a setback, but in hindsight, it was. It projected me forward, you know, like
For sure.
like it sucks when everything burns to the ground, but no pun intended, that little fire under my own ass to, like, you know, get my own place, which, you know, makes running the business a little bit cheaper, a little bit more efficient. Don't got to drive to work, and just kind of, yeah, in hindsight it wasn't really a setback, but at the time, yeah.
So at that time, man, like, was there any thoughts of giving up?
For sure, like you know, it'd be easy to kind of pack the bags in and take a regular 9 to 5 job, but yeah, like I said previous in the conversation, the reward was just too grateful to give up. Like, to give up my freedom and the reward I would get from creating an item from scratch for somebody.
For sure. How did you bounce back? Like, ultimately, how did you bounce back from that situation?
Just kept making stuff, like, and you know, at the time I got moved over to I was working on a project with Little Louie's, and I kind of kept working on that project right away. They let me in the building for 3 or 4 months, and I continued to work there on my stuff and was able to complete their project for them. So yeah, it was just the good of the people, like just people reaching out and people helping, and people continuing to want me to make them stuff and work with them.
I'm glad you were able to bounce back, man. I want to know, what are some of your current plans for your business in 2026?
Well, right now I'm working on a lot of projects. I'm working with the Bricks, which on St. George Street, I did a lot of their tables and stuff like that.
Shout out the Bricks.
And now we are working on their new cafe, which the location's still disclosed, I think. So we're doing some of that projects. I'm also going to be working with the Bunker, which is going to be a huge pickleball place.
Shout out the Bunker.
Sorry, Bunker is Jer's old business. This one is called the Rally House.
Shout out the Rally House.
So we're going to be doing a bunch of stuff with them. And I'm also going to be doing a 2-month art show this year, which don't have all the details planned out yet, but I'm in the process of doing that. So that's going to be in November and December. Then just keeping all the clients up with, there's lots of clients that buy cutting boards that we gift away. And yeah, just continuing to produce one-off art items out of wood and try to incorporate more reclaimed materials. Like in my last projects, I just started using a lot of bike parts. And I'm going to try to keep thinking outside the box and kind of keep trying to be creative with different items.
Yeah, for sure. Woodworking, is it a competitive market?
I would say the market I'm in is so niche. There's not many people. Like, I only know 2 other people that actually do it full time in Atlantic, Canada. Brody and another guy from Fredericton, Nick Mazerol, and they're both incredible woodworkers. And there's no competition. Like, everyone does their own thing. It'd be actually amazing to do a show with those 2 guys at some point. I'd rather collaborate with people and and stuff like that. So I don't personally have any competition. It's not like a cabinet business fighting another cabinet business for work. Um, it's just people who like my work or they don't. So I don't feel
for sure.
super like I don't feel much competition in that aspect.
So the Moncton Market, obviously you were there. Man, overall, what was that experience like working at the Moncton Market? And bro, how did you not become fat working at the Moncton Market with all the amazing food they sold there, man? Like seriously, man.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like I definitely sampled most stuff on Saturdays, but just,
Sampled it, yeah.
yeah, just kept movement alive is the main thing in my life. I like to move a lot. My job's very active, and I'm a very active person outside that, whether it's yoga or in the gym or on my bike. So I've always kind of held that as a foundation for myself and for my life. But yeah, overall, working at the market was a great experience. It kind of like really broadened my network of people I know, and I do miss it in a lot of aspects. There's a lot of just conversations I would have every Saturday with people that no longer exist. But my life just took a different direction after the pandemic, especially with having a little family. I have a 4-year-old daughter now, so and a wife that's a school teacher. So Saturdays are a very valuable day. So if I'm taking off at 6 a.m. every Saturday, it's not super conducive to the family life. But that, after I did leave the market, I was able to kind of propel my business in a direction that I wanted to take it a little bit more. And it's really a lot more on my terms now. It's not like I have to fit inside of a box of be at this booth every week. I'm able to do a lot more stuff. But overall, yeah, the market was an amazing experience.
Well, how has your business connected you with new people?
How's my business connected me with new people? I've met hundreds and thousands of people over the years just from doing my work and like being at the market and just vibing on the same vibing on the same page, people wanting to get my work done, and people, oftentimes I meet people, like I just met a guy biking this summer, and I didn't know he was the president of CAT. All of a sudden gets me to make trophies. We met on the bike, in the biking scene. So any like stuff I'm usually involved in, people find out what I do, whether I'm at the CrossFit gym right now, I'm doing projects for them, or with the yoga studio, or most communities I try to involve myself within, just organically kind of happens where projects appear.
So, what would be your favorite thing about being an entrepreneur?
It's the ability to create your own time. Like today at 8 a.m. I went on an hour bike ride with one of my buddies who lives around the corner. We went on an hour fat bike ride, started in the shop at 9 today, and we'll just work a little bit more tonight.
Man, is there any downsides about being a woodworker or entrepreneur? Any downsides?
I'd say the downside list is fairly large. Like, you're alone all the time. You're on it's all up to you, right? So it's like, there's no consistent paycheck, right? It's how hard you want to hustle, and it's kind of how much money you're going to make. So there's definitely downsides. Like most businesses obviously fail. I don't know what the fail rate now is, but it's like 8 out of 10 businesses fail, or 9 out of 10 businesses fail.
That high? Damn.
It might even be higher, man.
That's crazy. You said 8 out of 10?
I would say most businesses fail.
Damn.
Like most, unless you're really invested. So that's a downside, is that the odds are against you. Like as soon as you enter into entrepreneurship, the odds are against you. So you have to hustle for sure, and you have to be creative and think outside the box. But for my kind of personality and lifestyle, it's just I said, a long time ago it was going to work, and I just wasn't going to let no as an answer. So as long as you're persistent and resilient, and you just take no quit as an answer. There's definitely some low times, but you just don't really dwell on those. You just keep moving forward.
For sure, man, for sure. Well, man, what was your first impression of me when we met for the first time? Way back in the day.
Yeah, well, it was definitely an oddball high school student, that's for sure. Not someone out of the normal, but you were very energetic, and what I liked about you was you weren't shy at all, and you kind of had the ability to talk and speak to people, and you know, you don't see that a lot of days. Like people only communicate through text or whatever, and even back then, like a lot of kids didn't voice their opinion or talk or whatever, and you just weren't kind of shy, and you were, you know, just spoke your mind, and that was kind of authentic to me, and I thought that was cool.
Man, thanks for your time, bro. I think a lot of people will find this story interesting, man. And I wish you the best with the business.
Right on. Thanks a lot, Shay, man. Peace.